Hi, welcome to a new video dedicated to the new Walkera product. This is a Rodeo 150, so it's a really compact brushless racer including a 5.8 GHz FPV ring. So it's nothing else than the little brother of the excellent 4S F210 I reviewed some time ago. So now it comes in 150mm quadcopter edition. So expect a much more lighter, and now with this model it comes only in a 2S power system, so we will see if it's suffering or not of this downgraded voltage battery. Let's open the box. Okay, so let's discover a little bit now the each element of the packaging. First of all, I will start with the battery. It's an unusual 2S battery ending with the AC2 connector. It's not yet very popular, but for example, some last absent product use some. For example, the last H501S, and I strongly advise to buy such kind of adapter. For Tedin, for example, you will be able to recharge this battery with your favorite recharger, okay, charger. So it's very important to have such one. It's an AC2 model. It's announced to be 850 milliamps per hour with a discharge rate of 30C. So not bad at all to give to your quadcopter some good punch out. So for example, the weight of such model is around 47.4 grams, okay, and well, I can give the dimension of the battery, but in fact in practice you don't have a lot of extra room in the battery bay to install a bigger one. Anyway, here are the dimensions. So okay, sorry. So it's 53 by 30 by 15, okay? So as you can see on the battery bay, you don't have a lot of room. So to access to the battery bay, you have to press down this small locker and to slide back this battery cover. So you can find here all the free room available. I noticed that out of the box is a little bit hard to insert, and in fact you have to proceed like this. So to insert the battery, you have to have the connector on the rear side, bend a little bit the balancer plug, the white one, and start to insert it like this, okay? And then insert the battery like this. Now you will be able to connect the battery. Never do it without an antenna, I won't do it. but when it's done, you will be able after to lock and to insert the battery cover. Okay, very easily. It can lock pretty nicely like this. Okay, without any problem. So it's a little bit tricky. In another position, it's not so obvious to insert the battery. Okay, so as you can see, there is not a lot of room to insert a more stronger motor. So I think we will be limited by this 850 milliamps per hours. Now I will continue more on the quadcopter. So I already talk about the battery bay. Let's discover the main characteristics. First of all, in the first contact, without the battery, it's pretty light. So let's say I will connect the 5.8 GHz linear antenna, no cloverleaf, strange, but like this, and it's coming with the SMA connector. So I will insert it. I can give you the weight of this antenna standalone. It's 4.1 gram. Okay, so you should, and you can replace very easily with the cloverleaf antenna in a SMA connector. So the weight without the battery, standalone, but with the props, at least with everything, if I'm not wrong, is around 173.4 grams. Okay, and with the total weight with the battery inserted, okay, let's simulate it like this, we reach 220.8 grams, so a little bit more than 200 grams, okay, but it's under the 250 grams, for example, for the American market, so it's a pretty good news. The first word I should say about this quadcopter is about the main structure. Compared to the F210, now everything is in plastic. Okay, so no more carbon element. Okay, so the big open question will be the resistance to crash of such a nylon plastic structure. Okay, you gain in terms of weight, you are close to 2.5 times more lighter than the F210. Okay, so the energy is proportional to the square of the velocity. So it means that since it's still very fast quadcopter, the energy spread into a crash, especially in the frontal arms, frontal like this, will introduce a lot of stress, especially in this part. So the main question is how will be robust to a frontal crash, at least to the two front arms. It's a big open question. Well, I'm not sure it would be survive to the same time of crash of the F210. Okay, so I think the two weak points will be these two parts, especially here. Okay, so then the other associated question is how easy will be to replace the canopy structure. Well, you have to probably to remove the each four arms. Each of them got 4 X screws, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4 other X screws to probably disassemble the structures. Well, at least for the to split into the upper to the lower part. Okay, so I raise a caution about the solidity, even if the plastic seems pretty solid. Don't be wrong, it seems very a good quality one, very solid. On the front, on the lower part of the front, you can find some very strong LEDs. Okay, so ideal to keep in daylight your loss orientation. And on front you have this very small FPV cam. Okay, it's assumed to be a 600 TVL versus the 700 TVL for the F210. It's the good news, you can really adjust the orientation with very strong pitch, close to 45 degrees like this, and of course to 0, even negative if you want. Well, it would be stupid, but anyway, you can even apply a -10 degrees. That's pretty good. I don't think behind any switch to turn this camera into PAL or NTSC format. Maybe there is a switch, but I can't see it very easy to access. So really on the lateral side of the front, you have some LEDs turning to red as soon as you arm the quadcopter and flash. So you have strong white LEDs on front and this red on the lateral side. On the top of it you can find a small rubber cover hiding the RX binding button, as well as the dip switch to select one of the 8 frequency of the video transmitter. Okay, be aware this video transmitter is working in a slightly different band. It's the Walkera band, if I would say. It's so-called the band F, sometimes it's called band B, but I would say that the first is, for example, 5733. Okay, so it's the default frequency of this machine. The antenna of the 2.4 GHz receiver can be folded. That's pretty good news, especially on the rear. In case of crash, no problem, you won't break the attachment. Good news about the receiver, I will demonstrate it. This one is including the fixed version for the fail-safe compared to the first edition, the first batch of the F100-210. Now no more flyaway, potential flyaway. Out of the box, and I will demonstrate it, as soon as you lose your transmitter, the motor stops after 6 seconds. Probably it can be reduced with the tuning of your radio fail-safe behavior. Under each motor there are 1704 according to the documentation. So for example, I can give the exact external diameters. So they are, yes, 17.60, and in 8 this seems to be around 12, something like this. Okay, so it's probably I don't know exactly, this type is strange dimension of motors, and I can't remember the exact key, but I will write it in subtitle, but it's written in the documentation, so I will just give you this information. If I'm not wrong, no, it's not written in the documentations, so no key reference actually. On the right side you can find a very important element. First of all, on top you can find a micro USB port to connect your flying controlling board. What is the flying controlling board? Is the good news, is still the same SP Racing F3, so very strong ARM float core unit to make more precise your computation for the stabilization algorithm. So you have most of the last revision of the ARM cores. It's pretty good. Here you have a receiver port. You can connect, for example, if you buy the BNF version, your favorite receiver. Okay, you can find some plus 5 volts if you want. That's pretty good. But you can use, for example, I don't know, maybe to install an OSD. Here you have a tiny switch to turn into either PPM or S-Bus mode. Okay, so whatever the receiver you want to install. I don't think you can install a PMW receiver, but for such compact size it will be a little bit stupid. Okay, so to resume, before I will show some behavior of the fail-safe and the default SP Racing and default clean flight configuration. I will, first of all, I wanted to show you the LEDs, so I will enter the batteries. Okay, so I will remove the props in case of for safety. So good news, they are self-tightening. I can give you the diameter of the shaft. Okay, it's a basic round one. It's a 4mm shaft, so be aware. So the props are a little bit smaller. Okay, the shaft diameter usually it's 5. It is smaller, but self-tightening props pretty good. You have 4 spare props available in the bundle. It's pretty good. I don't think they are 3D. They are 3D. Okay. Anyway, so I will connect the battery. So as I said, you have to bend the balancer plug like this. Be sure to have your antenna connected. If not, you can cook your receiver, so your video transmitter, sorry. So you bend your balancer plug, it can be inserted, then connect your battery with the AC2 connector. Okay, As I say, you have these strong white LEDs. Okay, it's very blinding, so don't look at indirect direction. The red LEDs, very visible. Okay, and now, as I said, just gently bend the other wires like this. Okay, and you will be able to lock the battery cover like this. Okay, perfect. So it's yelling as soon as you won't harm your transmitter. Okay, so now I will discuss a little bit more about the transmitter. Okay, so now I will focus more on the transmitter. It's a basic Devo 7, and this model unfortunately is not compatible with deviation TX. The processor is not strong enough to welcome the deviation TX. It don't have enough memory, only 64 kilobytes. Anyway, it's using the chassis of the Devo 10, but you can find here a kind of three-way switch to position here, and after an auto centralized one, a two-way here, a port, a three-way here, and by default it will be useful to select one of the three flight modes. When you are in zero position, you will be in the more stabilized flight mode for beginners. In central, with more aggressive, a more latitude horizon flight mode, you can perform some flips. Okay, it will stabilize at the end of the execution. And then second position, this is the more acro mode to perform FPV in a racing mode. You have a two switch here, dual rate, but not assigned out of the box, and here another three-way. You have to know you have to feed with 8 AA batteries. Thanks to this compartment, it's ending with a JST connector, and I strongly advise to use more this kind of live battery. Okay, it's a 1800. It can fit perfectly, and with them, such kind of battery, you can have 2 hours of usage of your transmitter without any problem. So you have to insert your connector and then, for example, apply and clock your cover. So out of the box, you have the default settings, but I will show that at least the phase behavior of the receiver have been improved, and I will demonstrate that it's at least 6 seconds. Okay, could be better, and I will try to show how to tune it on the transmitter. Sorry. So I will turn on the quadcopter. So as I said previously, you have to enter the battery in this way. Turn on the quadcopter. It will emit a beep until you bound your transmitter, turn on your transmitter. So it's a little bit annoying, but the good news, you have a buzzer. So when you will lose in the herbs, it will be pretty good. It will start to beep. Turn on the radio. Okay, and now it stopped to emit a beep. So I say this flight mode is to select the switch to the flight mode. You have a beep each time you're changing the flight mode. To harm the quadcopter, you have to push the throttle stick in lower left position, and it's automatically spinning the motor. It's a little bit fast in my point of view, but everything can be tuned on the clean flight configurator. Okay, so you can apply the throttle. Okay, I will make a test without any props for safety, and I will cut the throttle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, around 5 to 6 seconds. That's pretty good. I noticed that it's not obvious to retake control of the machine. Okay, I cannot rearm again very easily. So, like it was possible to do on the F210, maybe there is a trick to regain, so I have to stop probably and to repower. I regret the absence of power switch. One of the first drawbacks I found on this machine, no power switch. As you saw, it's a little bit tricky to insert the battery, to connect it, and a small power switch would have been a great positive point. Okay, so after showing that the phase behavior is still okay, now it's stopping after 6 seconds. I will show a little bit the quality of the FPV signal. So as I said, it's using the band F. The default frequency is 5733. And I will first of all connect the battery and show you on an FPV monitors before, of course, my out of flight. But just to show you, okay, I won't lock completely the battery doors. And turn on the radio to stop this emitting beep. Okay, and turn on the FPV monitors. Okay, and you can see the video quality. Okay, so what you noticed, there is no OSD information. Well, it's a little bit of drawback. Okay, a small OSD information like F210 would have been a great positive point. Okay, so no more horizon line or the battery indication, nothing. Okay, or the remaining life of your battery, or I don't know if there was also some RSSI data, but I don't think so. Okay, let's about the field of view. Not bad at all. You have something like 120 degrees. You can see on the border that it's curved. You have some curves, so the lens is playing is quite have a quite wide field of view. The light transition is correct, not being fantastic. I'm not sure it got the best light sensitivity. It's probably a CMOS sensor, okay, from a strong daylight outsourced to the internal. Okay, but the light adaptation is not amazing. Look, that is completely blind. But if I'm going to this side, you can see that it's a little bit turned into the black. Okay, so well, we will see in our draw test, but it's correct, not being amazing. Okay, okay, I want to show you the, for example, some default emitted power by the video receiver, so the built-in. So I will turn on the quadcopter, and well, actually it's limited to 25 milliwatts. So it's in the CR configuration. I'm not sure there is a switch to turn it into more powerful. That's pretty strange. So you have two versions of the built-in video transmitter, more powerful and more CR compatible. Okay, so it's not the 600 milliwatts video transmitter associated with the F210. Okay. Okay, welcome to the default CleanFly configuration of the F115. So you have to plug a micro USB cable to the micro USB port on the right side, and then if the first time you never used the CleanFly configuration, first of all you need to run a Chrome browser, and you have to install the last driver, the CP210X driver. Okay, you have to click here, install on your system, and if everything is okay, when you plug your USB port to your laptop, you should see a COM appearing. For me it's a COM3, but it can be a different number for you. You have to click on connect. It could take a couple of seconds to connect. And then I strongly and immediately advise to back up your default settings. Okay, you save your in your favorite folder the default settings in case of problem. If you change something wrong, you can always restore your default settings. So in terms of port, first of all, before you have only the gyros and the accelerators, no extra I don't know, barometers or some stuff like this installed. So in terms of port, only the UART one is activated. Okay, two other UARTs are seen but not activated, not turned on. In terms of configuration, no motor stop, no one-shot 125. Okay, I'm not sure it's supporting or not. It can be turned on or not. I will check that later, but here are the default settings. Disarm, the minimum throttle can be lowered. Very important settings, be aware the flight control board inside is turned off 180 degrees, so if you change something, never forget to write these values. The battery voltage is monitored, but since there is no OSD, it's pretty useless. The default receiver installed is a PPM1, okay, and okay, some other, and you have the black box to save your log of your flying controlling board is activated. You have 8 megabytes of memory for it. In terms of fail-safe, you have this value, fail-safe settings on RX signal loss. So as I showed previously, it's correctly done after 6 seconds of potential flyway. I would like to be reduced a little bit. The PID setting, very important. So we are in a multi-way rewrite. So here are the values: 2.5, very low, high values. Okay. And roll rate, bit rate, and ER rate, DPA, TPR breakpoint. Receiver, well, it's associated with the machine. So, as I said, and we will show in the mode, the flight mode are controlled by the aux1. So the aux1 is this button here. Okay. So by default we are in stabilize mode. Okay. Angle mode when the value is F0, then horizon mode, and when it's in Q we enter into acro mode. Okay, so angle, horizon, then acro. Different settings, motors, toilet strip, etc. Can erase the flight load to empty the memory. Take a couple of seconds, seems to be quite long. We can tell, and show you the default version. So this is the version 1.3 of 4th of May, okay, of this year. It's an SP Racing F3 board. The last version, very recent firmware associated with. Be aware, the firmware is specific to the 150 Rodeo, so don't flash, for example, common last version of Betaflight. It's a dedicated version, so be aware of it. Okay, so it was the default configuration of Clean Flight, Betaflight, and I will probably show later in another video how to optimize them a little bit.